Well, hello there. Funny seeing you here, and welcome to the project section of the Bootstrap week. So we spent the last few days learning about Bootstrap, how you can use Bootstrap to, create a, in very large quotation marks, real looking website. And now you are going to, practice those concepts in a project. So I think by now you probably know the drill, but just to kind of introduce the project and how I would go about it, I'm going to just kind of walk through it. So I'd start by, checking out the week 10 Bootstrap directory in your project repo and notice that, just read through it, I guess. And the idea this week is that you're going to revisit your project from week 3. So week 3, remember, was about Flexbox and grid layout, and you came up with a web page for a company, whether that was a fake company or a real company or something in between. It was up to you, and it was up to you to write all of the CSS and HTML by yourself. And depending on how you felt about that week, that was maybe interesting, maybe frustrating, maybe a combination of all of the above. And now you're going to do the same thing, but instead of writing all of the content yourself, you're going to use Bootstrap instead. So I'm not going to say that you have to use the same company or anything. I don't care. It's totally up to you if you want to make a new company or if you want to do something slightly different. It's all good as long as you're practicing with Bootstrap. It's that's all I really care about. But what I'm going to be looking for is that you have at least one Bootstrap container, you have at least one Bootstrap row with at least 2 columns, and then you have a total of 3 Bootstrap components. You can have more. Feel free to have more than this, but this is what I'm going to look for. Cool. So to get started, what I would do, as always, is start by reading the code. So I'm going to go here in my local editor, and I'm going to open that up in my editor here. Whether you're using Atom or a different editor or Replit, it is all good. And here you go. Nothing too fancy in this one, in the placeholder content, but notice that I am loading both the Bootstrap CSS and the Bootstrap JavaScript file, and then there's some placeholder HTML content. Start with a container and then have a column, and then some content. So then I would look at that in your browser. So I'm going to open that up in my browser, and here you go. Again, nothing too exciting, because the whole point is for you to build out this HTML with whatever content you want. I'm saying use a fake company, but really you can do anything. So to get started, what I would do, I think you really have 2 options. One is you can basically copy what you took from what you wrote in week 3 into this directory and then modify it to be more bootstrappy. But honestly, I think I would recommend not doing that. And instead, I think I would kind of just start from scratch. I think that'll end up being easier. I think you can, copy and paste if you have text content or something from week 3. I think it'll be easier to copy and paste smaller sections into the file rather than trying to copy over everything and then putting Bootstrap on top of that. I think it'll be easier to start from scratch. So actually that's what I would recommend. But I mean, the idea is going to be kind of similar to what I did in the tutorial video. I would recommend starting by going to the Bootstrap documentation and checking that out. You can also, you can go to this week's content to also get code examples and whatnot. There's a bunch of code examples on this page, so you can take inspiration from some of these. But from here, I would say it's kind of up to you, honestly, and what makes sense for your fake company, your fake business, or whatever. So maybe I would start with the overall layout. Maybe you have a left nav and a top navigation bar and center content, and you can use the things that we talked about this week, such as the Bootstrap grid, the Bootstrap container, and maybe some of these components. So maybe I would start with a nav bar. So you can read through this and get more information about a nav bar, or you can maybe start by stealing it from this content. Let me find where I had that. Here it is. So I'll steal this nav maybe and copy it into the file. And different ways to approach it, but this is maybe how I would start. And instead of having my silly placeholder content, maybe this is, instead of cat pictures, maybe this is whatever page you want. And these links don't have to be real, but maybe this is like products or something. So I'd save that, and then I'd go back to the browser and refresh it, and now I've got a nav bar. And it's up to you. Again, it's kind of personal preference, but do you like your nav bar to be like left aligned like that, or do you want it to be center aligned? Totally up to you. But these are the kinds of decisions you can make in your code. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and like fiddle with it too much, but that's how I would approach it, kind of iteratively. And I would say like this would count as one of the Bootstrap components towards the requirements of the week. So you do 2 more basically, and then you're good. So yeah, I think the process is, I don't know, very similar to what I did in the tutorial video, where I looked through the Bootstrap documentation to figure out different components to use, and then copy that into your HTML file, and change it around so that it makes sense for you. And then, see if you like it, and iterate like that. Keep making changes as you go. But your end goal is to create, a Bootstrap web page for a fake company or business. And other than that, I encourage you to try stuff out and to be creative as always. Okay, so I think we're going to end it there. As always, please ask me questions as you get stuck or feel frustrated, or honestly, if you just want to chat about Bootstrap or really anything else, you know where to find me by now. So I look forward to hearing from all of you, and I look forward to seeing the beautiful Bootstrap pages that you're going to create in the next week or so. All right, have fun, and I will see you in class.